And these are the Instagram photos that we have been seeing now throughout the search for Brian Laundrie and initially the search for Gabby Petito. This is a young couple. This young woman should have had the rest of her life in front of her. She should be celebrating all these wild adventures, seeing the country and living life. I mean, everything was out in front of her. You think about this. Think back when you were 22 years old, or if you have children, like I do. I have children that are close to this age. The whole thing is in front of you. There is so much to see, so much to do, so much to experience. And she's not experiencing any of it. None of it. Gabby Petito, you know, is the victim of a homicide. She's on the left and on the right. Brian Laundrie, a person of interest who is now wanted, and they're searching for him. I want to bring in Court TV legal correspondent Chanley Painter, who joins us tonight as we try to get our minds around everything that's going on in this case and where we are. Let's start, though, with Gabby Petito and what happened this weekend, Chanley, because this had to be absolutely, like torture for Gabby's family on the one hand. On the other hand, I hope they know how many people were thinking of their daughter over the weekend.
Absolutely. It was a somber weekend full of the memorials and vigils for the life of Gabby Petito, both in New York, Long Island, where her family's from, as well as in Northport, Florida. Let's start, though, in New York there at the Maloney's funeral home where, lines of mourners gathered to pay their respects on Sunday, Vinny, to celebrate the life of Gabby Petito. About 1,000 people, it's been reported, showed up in person, and then thousands more watched online to mourn Gabby. And as you can see, there were flowers, signs, posters. That teal color that you see a lot, that represents Gabby's eye color, her beautiful blue eyes. At the memorial on Sunday, her father and her stepfather spoke to the crowd. Her father said that, "I want you to take a look at her photos. I want you to be inspired by Gabby. If there's a trip you guys want to take it now. Do it now while you have time. If there's a relationship that you're in that might not be the best thing for you, leave it now." Some inspiring words by her father, and her aunt spoke outside of the memorial. Let's take a listen.
She was a beautiful, beautiful soul. You could see it. Why do you think all of this is happening? She was a beautiful soul. She's a beautiful person.
Also in Florida, I mentioned there was a memorial as well in Northport with dozens of community members showing up, playing music with those candles, having a vigil, also celebrating her life there as well. And her father, Joseph, said that he has now the Gabby Petito Foundation, which he says will provide resources and guidance to families of missing children to hopefully that empathize with what they've been through over the last couple of weeks, Vinny. So a lot of outpouring over the weekend focused on Gabby Petito.
You know, Chanley, when you talked about what her dad said, and there's a lot to that, and there's a huge lesson that we can learn. You want to do something, do it. Go experience that adventure. But on the other hand, about the relationships, that's so important. You're in it, young people sometimes get trapped in these toxic relationships, and if they could just take that step back or see the big picture on how big the world is and how you don't need that, it should be all good. It should be exciting. And that's what, I think that's a tragedy. I think it's one of the reasons that this has resonated so much with people, with parents and with young people who live their lives through Instagram as well, can all relate to what happened here to a certain extent. Okay, let's look at the other side of this now. There's this incredible search for Brian Laundrie now that still has turned up nothing. What is the latest?
Absolutely nothing. Brian Laundrie has been missing now for 13 days, Vinny. No word or sign from him after days of extensive searches. But as you can see by this missing person report that the authorities just released, his parents did not report him missing until September 17th. And while this report is one page, it is heavily redacted. I mean, everything in this report is redacted. So, of course, no new information coming from the authorities, but we do know that his parents told the authorities on the 17th that he went camping at this 25,000-acre nature reserve, left his cell phone, his wallet at home. So, police say there is a reward, though, for that man right there, Brian Laundrie, $30,000 for information funded by a law firm and friends of the Petitos. But after those 13 days, there's no sign of Brian Laundrie. And today, the Northport police issued a statement because of the rain and the flooding in that reserve. They've scaled back a lot of the search efforts. Here's what the statement said today. Here's the latest update. The search for Brian Laundrie continues, and the FBI is now leading the investigation at the Carlton Reserve. Northport PD search efforts will be reduced and targeted based on intelligence and tips from the public. So no other update will be provided unless there are new developments. But I have to mention this, Vinny, the other big update out of the Laundrie saga, the Laundrie home. FBI agents visited the Laundrie home early yesterday morning. Were there about a few minutes, left with a small evidence envelope or bag, and this is what the family attorney says happened. The FBI requested some personal items belonging to Brian Laundrie to assist them with DNA matching, and Brian's parents provided the FBI with what they said, or with what they could. So that tells me that possibly like a toothbrush. We know her autopsy's pending. They've seized a lot of items, and so now they wanted his DNA. Also, the family attorney for the Laundries telling a lot of media out there that his parents, Laundrie's parents, do not know where he is, and they're very concerned, and they hope that he's located.
Okay, that concern is interesting because under the circumstances that he left and went wherever he went. All right, Chanley Painter, great information tonight. Thank you so much. Let's bring back in the think tank, get some reaction to all of this information that we have now. So, Jennifer Brandt, the parents are concerned, but again, I go back to the parents. He left without his wallet, left without his cell phone. He said something that caused them to hire a lawyer, and then he just kind of takes off. Come on. Were we all born yesterday? I don't understand what they think the world is going to think with that whole scenario, like he's a missing child or something.
Right, Vinny. Well, you know how I feel about this one because we've discussed this before, but I think the issue of getting the lawyer for him, I can understand the parents once he was being questioned by the police before any of this happened, before Gabby's body was found. I don't think it was wrong for them to get him a lawyer.
He's never been questioned. He got the lawyer before they even knocked on the door.
He
got the lawyer before they knocked on the door.
But then he came back without her. They knew something was going on, and they got him a lawyer. Okay, I'm not offended by that. Where he went and what they knew, it is getting a bit troubling now that it's a longer period of time. He's gone. They can't find him in the Carlton Reserve. I understand that that's pretty rough terrain there, not a friendly place, not a place that people say you can survive for a long period of time. So wonder why they're even searching there. Is he even there? Where did he go? Did he get a head start on something, getting out of town? That is questionable. And what the parents know, admittedly, it is questionable. If he even came home, he was there, and did he tell them where he was going? What do they know? I have to, agree with you there, Vinny, because I know where you're going on this one.
If a 23-year-old leaves without their phone, they're not just stepping out. They don't go anywhere without their phones. We know that. We know that. All right, Brian Weiss.
I agree.
Brian Weiss, I have big news that I want you to react to tonight. Dog the Bounty Hunter has also joined the search for Brian Laundrie. Over the weekend, Dwayne Dog Chapman was seen knocking on the front door, there he is, of the Laundrie home, and he spoke to Fox News Digital, giving his theories about where Brian Laundrie may be.
The strongest lead I see is that one of her friends said he had been in the Appalachian Mountains by himself for a couple months. Now, he's not just a camper then, he is a outdoorsman. So in order to do that, I think because of his age, he felt comfortable. If there's anywhere right now that looks the hottest, that could be the area.
All right, Brian Weiss, the dog is on the trail, but let me ask you, is he missing or is he hiding? And can this whole episode that we're going through now be used against him when and if he's found and when and if he's charged in anything related to the death of Gabby Petito?
Answer to the first question. He's on the lam. He's a lamster, in the words of Tony Soprano. Make no mistake, because the guilty flee where none pursueth. I think I remember that from Hebrew school. The other thing is, of course, if they ultimately bring this guy to ground, what's been going on over the course of the last 2 weeks is certainly something that the jury can and will hear. Why? Because it's evidence of consciousness of guilt. And those words are the words that strike fear in the heart of any criminal defense lawyer anywhere. And one quick take on the family's lawyer's statement about how the Laundrie family cooperated. Let's throw them up in air quotes. That's a little disingenuous, guys. The notion, as I understand it, of a search warrant is that it provides you not just access to, but the ability to remove evidence with or without somebody's consent. So the fact that the FBI made entry pursuant to a warrant and took what they did to claim that this family deserves some credit for cooperating is like a rooster taking credit for the crack of dawn.
And KC, we can't forget where we were in the beginning of this. This story broke as Gabby Petito's missing. The last person she is with is saying nothing about it. And that, we can't forget that that's where we were and that's where we started here. And that's why the actions of the family are so outrageous to so many people, because that young woman was missing. That's her fiance. She lived with the parents. She lived in the Laundrie home. So someone who was living in your house is missing and you're saying nothing? How on earth do you expect us to give you the benefit of any doubt under those circumstances?
And we can't. We can't. And Vinny, let's not forget, there was domestic violence. And I think I'm going to take the unconventional route and say this. I believe that the law enforcement failed both Gabby, because had someone got arrested, then she probably would have been alive. We got reports that Brian, Mr. Laundrie, was the one that was witnessed by an independent witness slapping Gabby. So if at all, this cooling off moment that law enforcement gave both Gabby and Mr. Laundrie, that was detrimental, because possibly if someone was taken into custody, perhaps her parents could have picked her up. They would have been separated. She possibly could have been alive. So I just think law enforcement failed her. And then coming back, he should have never just been a person of interest. He was a suspect from the moment he came back without her, coupled with the domestic violence. So in this case, I believe that the parents should have promptly participated, volunteered. They could have lawyered up on behalf of the son, but I believe that they should have been active in locating Gabby from the very beginning. I believe they know more than what they're leading on to.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with Casilla on the domestic violence. Those police officers should be trained to notice what is going on in a situation like this. And to see a young couple with her so distraught, they should have intervened and done something about it. Because if they did at the time, we might not have been faced with the situation we are today, because she was clearly upset.
And let me tell you, if there was a phone call that went to her dad's, right? She's got, a stepdad and a dad who both raised her. They would have been out there in 5 minutes and they would have taken care of business.